I'm Oliver Jordy Miner from Ivanti. I'm going to talk you through the benefits that we can offer in relation to adoption and virtualization of the user workspace, and on a wider note, how Ivanti can help you self-heal, self-secure and self-service your endpoints from cloud to edge. Just next slide. Let's see here. Okay, perfect. So I'll just give you a brief overview of where Ivanti is as a business. Probably seen through various different news feeds that we've acquired a number of different businesses from across IT organizations globally over the past 2 or 3 years. Our active customer base now sits at roughly 25,000 users. We acquired 1,500 new logos through 2019. In terms of our global reach, we are across now 40 million endpoints, and as you can see, our portfolio stretches to patch with the number of updates deployed there, 7 million tickets, and in terms of ITSM, our service management solution as well, we have over 2 million cloud users. And driving more specifically into user workspace management, which is the area of which I'm going to focus on today. So this is the former AppSense product, or AppSense suite of products, and historically Alchemy and AppSense have had a very close relationship. The expertise that Alchemy have inside of their organization around this product and this product set are second to none, and everything I'm talking about here, you can trust in confidence that Alchemy can deliver to a very high scale. So UWM, our vision and our goal is to provide market-leading solutions that manage, secure, and personalize the user experience in the modern workspace. Just looking at the UWM landscape, so as you can see down the right here, we sit across various different pillars, and our primary strengths really sit across education, healthcare, finance, and government. But as you can see down the left-hand side, we're huge across manufacturing, retail, business services, financial services as well. Today, we've got roughly 1,800 enterprise customers. We are deployed across 9 million endpoints as of August 2020, and our largest concurrent deployment sits at roughly 200,000 seats. As we develop these solutions for the modern workspace, we work with our customers on their goals and the common market goals within the UC space. And we see 3 common trends coming out of this. Office 365 in terms of adoption, our ability to personalize and decouple the user from the device and take those office settings between physical and virtual devices through a VHD cache, through our personalization bubbles and layers, and also whilst applying and orchestrating the Office 365 preferences through our granular policy engine at logon or on process started of the Office applications. Windows 10, naturally through 2020 and the Windows 7 deadline that was set, the migration story has always been huge for us. Again, the way in which we capture the user DNA and seamlessly roam that between devices means that it's a reduced effort for IT in terms of an autonomous backup and autonomous delivery of the workspace. And from the end user's point of view, their productivity isn't hindered, their experience is seamless and continuous regardless of the OS. And again, we capture the DNA, we roam the settings, we can roam the profile data whilst providing a privileged management layer and an optimized performance through our Performance Manager solution. And finally, cloud. So we play in various spaces across cloud. The recently announced Ivanti Neuron Workspace is essentially a cloud platform with what we believe to be market-leading solutions from across the world of IT, all delivered from a unified platform. But more specifically for UWM, we're offering ways in which you can build out a hybrid environment for your user workspace environment by delivering our solutions from cloud whilst leveraging and maintaining your data on premises. We have customers now who are utilizing our products out of the WVD platform, out of the Citrix Cloud platform as well, and that could be their middle and back end tiers in terms of databases and web servers, or it could be their Windows devices and their client devices. And just to quickly run through the portfolio of products that we have inside of this suite, we've kept Citrix up at the top there as a big strength of ours, as well as in Citrix and virtual environments. But when we look at a productive workspace, we look at visibility, and we have our management center, a product there that will give you the ability to discover and manage your endpoints by deploying agents and configurations to virtual, persistent, non-persistent, and physical devices, along with our Ivanti cloud layer on top of that. Ivanti Application Control is our privilege management and executable control suite, which I'll talk through in more detail shortly. In terms of health and optimization, Performance Manager is the play. Flexibility, so ensuring that the user context can be flexible, it can be managed granularly across any device. Environment Manager Policy is our multi-threaded engine that helps you deliver those policies. And consistency, and our personalization story is all around Environment Manager from a user settings and preferences point of view, and Ivanti File Director from a user data point of view as well. We've seen just with those two products alone, huge enterprises, 150,000 seat enterprises, reduce their hardware refresh cycles from 8 or 9 hours, or even 2 or 3 days in some cases, right down to 60 minutes to 90 minutes, because the autonomous backup is happening continuously. So in a refresh, migration, or DR scenario, the user can just be handed a new laptop, everything is familiar, all the data and settings are relevant and present in the state that they were in on their previous device. Okay, so let's dive a bit deeper into some of the tools that we have. So on an across the board level for the suite, and the outcomes that we deliver, our user context management story is the key one. We can be very granular across how you orchestrate a desktop, from applying a per user on a multi-terminal server environment, set of shortcuts, desktops, applications, defining which drives they get, which mappings they get, which wallpaper, whatever that might be, and that can be based on location, IP range, OS, and a number of other different things across all of our suite. We can deliver a workspace on demand. We don't have to deliver everything at logon as group policy would, for example. Where we do deliver at logon, we deliver multi-threaded, and we also can deliver workspaces and capabilities at a process started trigger, at a system event trigger, wherever that might be. It's very much an optimized delivery mechanism, which means you don't have that logon storm where you're trying to orchestrate the user session. As we move on, it's self-securing privilege management, self-securing optimization, device onboarding, and acceleration to cloud and virtual desktops. Just on cloud as well, we recently obtained a partnership with Microsoft on their virtual desktop, Windows Virtual Desktop platform. You can see the statement here, and that can be found on the Microsoft website as well. But what this basically comes back to is Microsoft recommend us as a partner to enable a seamless adoption of their go-to cloud platform for desktop, by using us to deliver an orchestrated, productive workspace, and also ensure that user data can be roamed between physical and virtual devices wherever they may be, regardless of the user context as well. So it says a lot about our solutions, especially our personalization solution, that Microsoft would partner with us in this context, given their existing profile capabilities. And just in terms of Citrix's accreditations for us as well, we are a Citrix ready partner, and here are just some of the great value propositions and case studies that they publish on their own site about us as well. Okay, just for the sake of time and being slightly behind schedule here, here are some of the case studies that I've talked about on the platforms that I've recently referred to. So some of the successes and some of the wins that we've had, you can see here, in terms of optimization, reducing server counts, reducing support tickets, reducing logon times from 8 minutes to 35 seconds, and increasing the server density as well. And just expanding upon those, Deakin University here reduced logon times by 90% simply by deploying a multi-threaded engine to orchestrate their desktops over and above group policy. Auto Trader reduced their logon times again significantly through the same logic. And in terms of a central desktop, one desktop for all, and just orchestrating that from a central management pane, we see here the EMEA customer who's standardized 31,000 endpoints with desktop now, significantly reducing the effort and costs of the IT organization. Okay, so a quick run through of the products and their high level. So I've touched on Environment Manager quite a lot already. In terms of the key outcomes that you can achieve, it's providing a consistent experience regardless of device, location and context, and naturally that provides benefits for both the IT organization and the end user. Reduces logon times, of which I've talked through and shown examples of. It can reduce or almost eradicate profile related help desk calls as we deliver the session on demand through a context engine, and it can give you the visibility of the user experience, the context, in order for you to better manage that experience. Okay, skip through these, go through to the next again just for time. In terms of file director, again, this is one of the partnered recommended solutions from Microsoft for us as well. It's all around the user data migration, so taking user data from on-prem to cloud, moving that data between OSs through a refresh cycle as well. File director offers what we believe to be the most seamless and best solution for that. In terms of the granular controls that the enterprise have over the sync mechanisms, the bandwidth, and the exclusions. Where files on demand is being delivered from cloud storage, we can deliver files on demand to any server or Windows 10 OS. The storage that's cached locally can be cleaned up on demand, so it's never left idly consuming disk space, which is a huge benefit on non-persistent virtual devices. And you also gain great insights into the user data that you have in your environment, so you can make great choices on what you wish to do with it and accurately estimate ROI opportunities. I'm just skipping through some of the other use cases here, but I'm happy for these to be shared. In terms of application control, we have privilege management, so on-demand elevation of the user token, regardless of whether that's a Windows component, whether it's a third-party application. We can elevate that token on demand or autonomously for you, which significantly reduces your attack vector and can impede malware spread. We can, out of the box, enable application control, so executables have their owner verified in terms of the NTFS owner, and should that not be trusted to the organization, by default that will be denied. And we also have significant plays for license complaints and web content URL redirection as well. Okay, and finally, where I showed you some of the case studies on Performance Manager earlier, the user density play that we can do and we can hit on. So we saw the example where we had an 80% reduction in server count with one of our customers. They're one of the banks that I showed you back there, and that was simply by better managing CPU and memory across their estate and on their multi-user environments. And the way that they do that is they deploy a template-based config for RDSH or VDI, wherever that might be. Performance Manager applies smart scheduling. It trims memory where it's idle and not required. And for the multi-process applications, such as a lot of the browsers of today, where they have tabs using and consuming resource that is idle and not required, it can proactively trim those, give that resource back, and ensure that the more critical front-facing applications and resources have whatever they need to succeed. Okay, and I've just included some resource links here for the deck, should that be shared, and should anyone wish to see that, some white papers, some case studies as well. So I apologize that I've had to skip through that fairly quickly and cut out a couple of slides, but hopefully from here you can see the picture that of our 1,800 customers, 9 million endpoints or so, they get the best in breed of user experience delivery and context management. And Alchemy is our #1 partner for helping us deliver those solutions in the field.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Oliver. So looks like here we'll go into some Q&A here that we have from some of our users here. So one of the questions that they had is how does this product compare to some of the other products out there? What really delineates, Ivanti from some of the other vendors that are potentially out there today?
Portfolio is vast, but if I just concentrate on the UWM portfolio, I think that the thing that a couple of things set us apart. The first thing being the granularity that you get around the user context. Naturally, there are a lot of different solutions offered from either competitors or partners of ours in terms of Microsoft Citrix as well, and they can do some of what we can do. But in terms of the level of user experience we can deliver, just down to the granularity that we give the enterprise administrators, we see a real difference in the way in which we can orchestrate on a way more granular and powerful level when it comes to workspace delivery, privilege management, and optimizing the workspace as well. And that's why so many of our customers continue to use our products over and above what they may get inside of the native OS or another third-party vendor that they may be already paying for.
And then in this day where users are spanning from on-prem to the cloud to multi-data centers, there's one of the questions that keeps coming up is, if I've got a physical desktop, if I've got a virtual desktop, if I'm on-prem or if I'm in the cloud, how does this product help solve for that issue?
So if you've got multiple devices across multiple different layers or platform, because UWM ultimately decouples the device from the user, it detaches the user DNA in terms of a privilege, in terms of a personalization persona. The location or type of device is largely irrelevant. The context that you can put around the delivery of the solutions means that you can control as an administrator exactly what the experience is across any of those platforms. And if you want that to be consistent, then the user's personalization bubble and their privilege settings, their optimization settings will follow them and be present at first logon regardless of where they are logging into.
And then we briefly heard you touch on Performance Manager. So one of the questions pops up, does Performance Manager really add, that much value to when users are trying to, run different workloads, especially in the multi-user environment? I mean, does it really have an impact and how users and what their user experience is while they're interacting with that multi-user session?
Yeah, absolutely. I know I skipped through the case studies fairly briefly there, but where Performance Manager has been used, especially in multi-user environments, it has a huge impact in terms of the user density count that can be achieved with that. And the reason it does that is because it ensures that you're maximizing the hardware that you're already paying for, and it puts critical applications, as can be defined by you, and can also autonomously be detected in terms of which applications are at the front, and gives them a fair share to ensure that the user experience is always seamless, because whatever the user is trying to do at that point in time, it ensures that it has the relevant resources to do so, whilst cleaning up anything idle in the back that isn't necessarily required at that point. And it also picks up on any rogue processes that may try and run away with a significant and unrequired amount of CPU or resource.
Also, too, next here is how does it play? So I know some of the questions are I've got my SQL database, I've got it on-prem today. I'm looking to move to one of the public cloud providers. Let's just say Azure. Am I required to run full SQL? Can I leverage some Azure SQL? I mean, so how does that transition work while I'm looking to move from on-prem to a cloud provider?
So a large number of our customers have taken that step, especially through the pandemic that we're in today. We have customers running all of the tiers of the solution if they're using personalization inside of either a WVD Azure platform, and that could be a Citrix platform as well. But in terms of a SQL requirement, that is a requirement for some of the solutions, and that can be ran either on-prem or it can be ran as a service inside of Azure as well. But SQL isn't necessarily a requirement as well for any of the products, even Environment Manager. If you're just using the policy side to orchestrate your desktops that sit inside the cloud, then it's just a single console and a single agent as well. But you do have options for moving things up to Azure. And as we move through the next 12 months or so, we are also looking at how we can deliver these capabilities, these remediations from our unified cloud platform, and offer some form of a SaaS subscription as an alternative. It won't be a replacement, but it will be an alternative for anyone looking to move down that route as well.
Well, Oliver, we really want to say we appreciate your time today. Thank you very much. This was very informative. Again, if you have any additional questions that arise, please don't hesitate to post those into the chat. We'll be more than happy to circle back with you and get those answered.